My sense of Mary when I met her was I just knew she was going to be my wife. I wasn't thinking about a girlfriend at the time. I was just raising my son. And our courtship was for 1 year. And we made plans and we got married a year later. So she got up, went to go work out. When she pulled out the garage and turned the corner, I realized she had already left the house. The phone rang, and it was the hospital. It was someone from social work, and they asked me, "Is Mary Milton your wife?" I said yes, and they asked me to come down to the hospital. She had been in a car accident. So when I got there, and I put my left arm around the back of her head, and I bent over and I began to pray with her. They asked me if I wanted to say anything else to her before they put her on a vent. And I reached down and kissed her and told her I loved her. And I stepped out the room and never spoke to her again. After the scan, the doctor pulled me aside about an hour and 25 minutes later. His words were, "As you know, she had bleeding and swelling in the brain. However, because we weren't able to slow down the bleeding because of the swelling, she lost a lot of oxygen and she has no brain activity." When you're with someone 16 years, you're used to their smell, their touch, their laugh. You're used to everything about them. And to think about not ever having that, it was so hard. It's like, how am I gonna go on? How am I gonna move forward from this? Organ donation was something that we didn't agree on. I was a no. I was against it 100%. It's just because I just didn't trust the process. I wanted to do it, but I didn't trust it. She was strong in her position. She knew what she wanted. And that's what I loved about Mary, is that she was adamant that it was the right thing to do.
Gift of Life Michigan is the organization that works with families, hospitals, recipient centers to be able to pull off the miracle of organ transplantation. I describe it as the last chance for somebody to be able to give life to somebody else. It's a gift of love. These gifts that these individuals are giving, it's the most heroic act that anybody could do at the end of their lives.
Once I was able to gather myself, I knew the next step is I need to let them know right away that she wanted to donate her organs.
I was introduced to Chad by one of the attending physicians and a nurse and one of the social workers at the hospital. I was there to help support Chad and work him through this process.
There was a team that came to me from Gift of Life, and they were very respectful, and they assured me that they would do everything they can to carry out those wishes.
Chad had some concerns about how the process takes place. Every step of the way, he wanted to be involved. He wanted to be a part of his wife's wishes. When we were leaving to go to the operating room, I gave Chad a big hug and told him that we would be with Mary the whole time. With Chad's request of a prayer being read just prior to her heart stopping, we were able to have one of the chaplains from the hospital come in and read that prayer. And we recorded it for him and sent it to him right after it was done.
Mary, go, for God sends you. Go, and God will be with you. The Lord God will be with her.
And he knew that it would be just a short time that the team would be taking that heart and going to save the life that it was going to save.
For me, that moment was what she had wanted was being fulfilled, her wishes. And also felt good for those recipients, knowing that somebody was soon going to have a heart. Mary's spirit lives on, and it's going to continue to live on.
This is my wife's heart. I love you, baby. Thank you. God bless someone with his heart for my wife. This is my wife's heart. May Yahweh bless them. Keep them. Give them peace. Shalom. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Drive safe. Coming back toward you.
They answered all my questions. They hugged me constantly. I felt like they were working for her. I felt like they were fulfilling her wishes. I felt like they were honoring her wishes. I felt like they loved her. Trustworthy is the biggest word I could use for Gift of Life. They're trustworthy. You can trust them. They're compassionate. They care. It's personal. And for me, that explains it all. It was the promise that was kept by Gift of Life, that they would do everything that they said they would do. They kept their promise.